It is the cornerstone of our democracy, our most sacred right as citizens of this country, your right to vote. With the primary less than 2 weeks away, I talked to some candidates, voters, and the man in charge of elections in Alabama to learn what they're worried about most as we head to the polls.
I'm telling every young person I can, white, brown, you name it, black. No, I'm telling them, vote.
People we talked to are first concerned about a lack of participation in the election.
Everybody should vote, and I get really angry when I hear someone who complains but they don't vote.
But assuming everyone who can vote does, how confident can we be that the vote we cast is the one recorded for our candidate? Could the vote count be manipulated?
I mean, in today's technological world, that's possible.
Chris Lewis is running in the Republican primary for the District 5 U.S. House seat. His background is in intelligence surveillance with the military.
There's a lot that can be done. It's not a hard thing to do, but I don't think North Alabama is in a place that we're really concerned with it.
Yes, they do count.
A moment ago, we heard this woman, Gloria Richardson, admonishing those who don't vote. It turns out she is a poll worker. We asked her if there's any way for a vote to be changed.
No, because it's not on the internet. It just goes to the machine.
Oh, it's very well protected.
Secretary of State John Merrill is in charge of Alabama's elections. He says your vote is recorded on a standalone drive in the voting machine that is only shared with the county supervisor and then certified in Montgomery. As an added measure of security, Alabama will introduce an election audit this year.
To show that when your vote was cast, it was cast for the candidate of your choice.
With the integrity of the vote count secured, there is another threat to the election that has officials and candidates alike worried. An even greater threat, they say, than some hackers trying to change votes after they're cast are those trying to influence your vote before you even get to the polls.
It could be coming from somebody in Iran or North Korea or Russia or China, and they're all trying to mess with our election. We shouldn't let them do that.
Representative Bradley Byrne is running for the U.S. Senate seat currently held by Doug Jones. He says misinformation, especially through social media, is the single greatest threat and something we should all be aware of.
If you don't know the origin or where something's coming from, you need to question it.
It's a theme every voter we talked to mentioned. Your vote is under constant assault from bad actors on social media.
I am concerned about the internet putting out false information. Very concerned.
When they go to look up on something on Google or Facebook, they expect it to be true because it's just what's on the internet, if that makes sense.
Secretary Merrill says the flood of information or misinformation on websites and apps, the malicious memes, the divisive discourse, is doing us all a disservice.
And so they want to share it as often as they can because it reflects their opinion or their point of view, and sometimes it leads to confusion.
Alabama is seeing a surge in voter registration and record turnout at the polls. Part of that responsibility is making an informed decision.
If we make the commitment to vote and we make the effort to understand the information we've got is accurate, then we'll make the right choice.
Now, things are just getting started on the election path, and soon enough Alabama voters will head back to the polls to pick the candidate of their choice.